Hi, I'm going to demonstrate a bit about Windows Speech Recognition Macros. This is a free add-on for Windows Speech Recognition, which allows you to add some custom commands. Once you download and install it from this link, you need to go to this document. In here, there's this link for Click Speech Macros, and contained within that is all you need for a simple clicking command set. Windows Speech Recognition macros can do a fair amount, but I found it to be quite tricky to learn. But fortunately this set lets you do some mouse clicking very efficiently. The commands it'll be adding are iClick to left click, iDouble to double click, iWrite to right click. iMouseCam toggles the camera mouse, which is not the same as MouseSense, which I used before, and I haven't actually used camera mouse recently. iHold holds down the left mouse button and iRelease releases it. The reason there's an I in front of those is because you don't want them to be triggered accidentally while you're dictating a paragraph of text. So say if this one was just hold down, then you could conceive that in the middle of a sentence it would trigger that command, and then suddenly the mouse would be selecting everything and you wouldn't have been able to say what you wanted to say. Once you've downloaded and installed both things, you'll have a new folder called My Documents Speech Macros, and inside clickspeechmacros.zip you find these two files and you just copy them over. We now need to edit it a bit. Now in this editing bit, it can look a little daunting if you're not used to coding, but simply put, it's listen for iClick and then it will do a left click. Listen for iDouble, it does a double click. Listen for iWrite, it does a right click. Listen for iMouseCam presses the scroll lock key, but we don't need that command at all, so we can just delete it. Now these two run the command in this Autohotkey macros folder. One to hold down the mouse button and one to release it. So they trigger an Autohotkey file, and that's what can allow you to do a lot more with this software. However, it's currently set to Bill M as the username, and unless your username happens to be that, you have to rename this. Click Next, click Create, and there's some things you just click OK and Yes and so on. Now if you're going to see Program Files WSR Macros, you'll find this file, and when you load that, it will load both Windows Speech Recognition and Windows Speech Recognition macros, so it's ready to start. Another efficient thing about it is as soon as you edit that script, it will be running immediately. There will be no need to close the program and reopen it again. Start listening. iDouble. iClick. 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 iWrite. iHold. iRelease. Stop listening. So you can see it's very efficient, and with this you can play a number of point-and-click games in combination with MouseSense, and I'll demonstrate those in due course. It may sometimes happen that when you try to save your script file, it complains about not having the right signing certificate. What you will need to do is right-click on the notification icon for Windows Speech Recognition macros, and go on Security, Create Signing Certificate, and just click all the yeses and sensible answers to that. And I don't really understand how it works, but it works. It's worth being aware that one limitation of Windows Speech Recognition macros is that the default commands for Windows Speech Recognition are still active, even when you're using your macros in a game. This means if you happen to say something that sounds like close, your game will close, and if you add some custom commands either for regular mouse movement or for an Autohotkey script, which sound a bit like, say, open Notepad, then it will open Notepad more often than it would trigger your own script. Furthermore, if you have a game that needs to be run in compatibility mode, or just simply run as administrator, then you will need to run the macros program as an administrator. Now finally, I don't actually like saying iClick and iDouble, because I didn't like the way they rolled off my tongue when I first started using this, so as a habit I change all these to J's. And I don't like saying J-hold and J-release, and I prefer saying J-down and J up, because I found it a bit faster. Start listening. J double. J click. J click. J click. J right. J click. J down. J up. And there you go. Stop listening.